Today's the NFL draft, Chris.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about it.
Panthers have the number 1 overall pick. You're excited. I know you are. You got your Cam Newton jersey on. Now, my 3 things on the NFL draft. First things, 1, how are the Panthers going to screw this one up?
This is what you got to think about, though, if you're the Panthers. You gave up 2 firsts, DJ Moore, 2 seconds.
Yep.
You better not screw this up. I don't even want to talk about screwing anything up.
Well, if you look at the history of what they've done the last several years, they've now given up 10 draft picks and DJ Moore to try and still fill this one position.
Right.
To still try and do it. Now, Sal Paolantonio, ESPN, does say that David Tepper, the general manager, is the one making the final call.
You know who pulls the trigger in 99% of the situations. It's the guy who writes the checks. So Tepper and his wife sometimes went to some of these workouts. And the owner is totally the one in charge of this football team. He has yet to really put his stamp on his team. He swung and missed with Matt Rule. They brought a lot of quarterbacks in here. Now they got Frank Reich, who was with this franchise at its inception. Tepper wanted Reich. Reich is trying to get himself right after things went wrong in Indianapolis.
Okay, I did say general manager because let's be real, David Tepper's the one making these picks. He might as well be the general manager. I know it's just like Jerry Jones, essentially, in Dallas. I get Scott Fitterer is the GM. I totally understand this. Speaking of Scott Fitterer, Frank Reich said he and Fitterer have reached a consensus on the number 1 overall pick.
Came in my office yesterday at some point and asked the question. It's kind of like a proposal of sorts, And I said yes. No, there is consensus, and we're excited.
The consensus is
we'll announce that Thursday at about 8 o'clock.
The consensus is who David Tepper wants.
Yeah, exactly. That's the consensus. Yeah, that's the consensus.
So who are we picking? And when last time you talked to the owner, like who was that?
Whatever Mr. Tepper and Mrs. Tepper said. Whoever he wants. That's the thing. So that's where they are. Now get to the second thing of the draft here. Bryce Young seems to be the guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's small. We get that. But I can tell you this, Chris. Alabama ain't recruiting a 5'10", 170-pound dude if he ain't special.
Absolutely.
The guy doesn't start for 2 years in the SEC, win a Heisman Trophy if he ain't special.
Think about a lot of the big-time players in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Where do they come from a lot of times? SEC.
SEC.
He's playing against those big-time defenders in the SEC, whether it's the DBs, the defensive linemen, the linebackers. These are huge men, and he was one of the best. You could probably call him the best quarterback in the SEC. He was the best quarterback in the SEC over the last 2 years. So, yes, the size might be an issue, but also just think about it. You absolutely said it. Alabama has their pick of the litter.
They do.
He beat out guys who were 6'4", 6'5", and all that to get to Alabama. If he's 5'10" and he was doing that at Alabama, he'll probably be okay, at least in the NFL.
It's a special person to be successful at his size. Again, Nick Saban doesn't look and see that guy and go, yeah, I want him if there isn't that special intangible quality to him. Now, former number 1 overall pick, Cam Newton, the guy's jersey that you're wearing right now,
the Panther GOAT.
He endorses Bryce Young.
NFL draft's around the corner, and everybody's been asking what's my take on who should the Carolina Panthers select. And this is how I judge quarterbacks as a whole. Everybody can throw. Everybody has talent. Everybody has upside. But the thing that everybody doesn't have, and it's simple, is leadership, and can you get to follow you. If I'm the GM, if I'm the head coach, if I'm David Tepper, I'm selecting Bryce Young.
Bryce Young is the exact opposite on everything that Cam Newton is.
Yeah.
Literally everything. Cam Newton's 6'5", Bryce Young is 5'10". Cam Newton is 250, Bryce Young is 186, or I guess 195 is what he says now. Leadership style, he's accurate.
Yeah.
Everything's different.
Everything's a little bit different.
In Cam Newton season.
Scott Fitterer, well, I think he's all in on Bryce Young.
Love the intangibles. Love the playmaking ability, the elusiveness in the pocket, ability to manage at the line of scrimmage, to see the field, deliver the ball on time.
You said nutritionally there are some things that you guys can do in terms of building up his body and his strength.
Yeah, and Alabama has a ton of resources, and they can do that too. But as he becomes a pro As he grows and gets older, he'll get bigger naturally. And we'll work with him. We'll figure out his body type. He's already getting thicker in the lower body, but in the upper body, we can add some mass.
You talked about his intangibles. What specifically impressed you about his intangibles?
The command, the leadership, the maturity. Like, he can walk in a huddle and he owns the huddle right away. He can walk to the line of scrimmage. He knows exactly what to do, and he never loses his poise. He's just always calm, cool, and collective.
You know how Bryce Young can get thicker?
Cookout.
Bojangles,
Oh,
Cookout,
yeah.
Krispy Kreme,
Oh,
and
yeah.
put some Texas Pete on top of
There
it,
it
man.
is. Put it
all
all
North
on top of
Carolina.
there.
He could definitely get thick in Charlotte.
All right. Panthers, again, have the number 1 overall pick. They don't pick again until pick number 39. Again, you listen to the NFL Draft right here on 99.9 The Fan. We're going to have wall-to-wall coverage starting at 7 o'clock at The Fan. Now, looking at what else they have, pick 39, they don't pick again until pick number 93. They have 6 draft picks this season. Now, they gave up next year's number 1 pick because of the trade to move up to number 1. You have to get it right in all these picks.
Yes.
Because you still need to find some guys that are going to be here. Yes, you brought in some free agent guys like Hurst, Miles Sanders. I don't anticipate those guys being here in 4 years, just because generally free agents don't last that long on your roster.
Right.
I want guys that can be here for 4 years. Not only did they nail the number 1 pick, they better pick their pick number 39, better hit that one too.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of guys that's going to be available there, so it'll be interesting what they do. They could get another wide receiver. They can get another linebacker. I think that they probably need to do something more in offense, whether it's another receiver or either get that linebacker of the future, because Shaq Thompson is going to expire.
Yeah.
And you don't have Frankie Louvu signed for a long time, so who's going to be that linebacker? Who's going to be the Luke Kuechly of the future for the Panthers?